Hello, everybody, and welcome to English Grammar with Amaya sir. I hope you are at home, safe, fit, and fine. And now we are going to bring the unit 3.6 to a conclusion. If you recollect, the last time what we saw was this, and was the last slide that we studied. So, the important part before we go ahead and start with the PPTs for today is just a quick recap of the story, because I am sure you are as excited as I am to find out what exactly did the sister do for her brother who is suffering from cancer. The story is that Pandit Ravi Shankar, it's based on true events by the way. Pandit Ravi Shankar and is going to perform at the Shanmukhanand Auditorium in Mumbai. By the way, that is in Sion. So most of the students have done the homework. You've emailed me. Some of them have WhatsApp me. There's some people have probably just sent a snapshot of the Google location or something, but they have done their homework. So yes, I'm very happy. So the point is that they were going to come and perform, and then the sister read this news from the newspaper out loud. So her brother, who was resting, who needed the rest, he heard, and then he also wanted to attend that concert, which is the title of the unit. And the point is that he is definitely not in a position to attend the concert. He, in fact, cannot even breathe all by himself. He has to rely on an oxygen cylinder. Now, the big question is, how should the family manage this whole situation? And there is extraordinary stuff that the sister does for brother, which the mystery will now be revealed. But there's one query that most students ask me, so I'm going to tell it to clarify that upfront before we start with today's work. They ask me, sir, did Yuvraj Singh not battle cancer and come out victorious? Well, yes, he did, and we are happy. But you must understand that this lesson, we're talking about decades ago. It's from an era where Mumbai was called Bombay, written by Shantara, so it's long while ago. Then medical science had not progressed that much. In fact, cancer, even today, if it's detected late, cannot be cured. The doctors also are helpless. Then you can imagine in that era, the name cancer was synonymous with death. So if the doctor used to say if someone is suffering from cancer, it was game over. So you must understand that before you question about why can't Anant get better. So we are talking about the old times. And now for the lesson. So the punchline is the chance of a lifetime. If you remember, the chance of a lifetime. So will he attend the concert, or will the concert come to him? We'll find out. So just verify that this was in fact really the last slide that we saw. I'm sure you've made all the notes. You have done your homework. I've received a lot of entries for homework. So I appreciate that. You're very sincere students. So on to today's work now, immediately. So this is going to be our first slide. As usual, when I read it, please make sure that you're not diverted anywhere else. You should totally be giving me 100% undivided attention and enjoy the story, because this is the climax. I'm sure you want to find out what happened. So let's dive into it. Let me read. When you are better, his mother said, this is not the last time they are going to play. Smita stood at the window looking at the traffic, her eyes wet with tears. Her mother whispered, but you, Smita, you must go. Your father will take you. When she was alone with Aunt Sushila, Smita cried out in a choked voice, now, how can I? We have always done things together, Anant and I. A walk in the park might make you feel better, said Aunt Sushila, and Smita was grateful for her suggestion. In the park, people were walking, running, playing ball, doing yogic exercises, feeding the ducks, and eating. They were eating something. We will do that in the next slide. So let's see what the mother said. Mother is trying to convince Anant that When you get better, you can definitely attend the concert. This is not the last time they are going to play. So they'll come to Mumbai again. The only point is that Anant doesn't have that kind of time with him. See, that's why there's this punchline. Now, what is the grammar entry here? This is not the last time they are going to play. So the affirmative of that, when we remove this not, okay, so this is not the last time means they will play again later sometime. They will play again later sometime. Guys, I want to share this thing with you. You must have noticed the way sometime was written together. There is a distinction between sometime, and sometimes. And there is a video on our channel exclusively made to clarify this distinction between the three: sometime, and sometimes. So please make sure that you watch it. Let's go back to the PPT to find out more entries. There are two modal auxiliaries, as you will find. Okay, so the first one is will, which shows certainty. Your father will take you. Notice this is certain. Your father will take you. Had the mother said your father may take you, then the point is it becomes just a possibility. But will is certain. A walk in the park might make you feel better. See, this is possibility. So there's no assurance, but it might make you feel better. What else? Grateful. Grateful. This great is not G-R-E-A-T great. This great is G-R-A-T-E great. Okay. Being thankful. So Smita was thankful for the suggestion by Aunt Sushila. And what was the suggestion? That she should go and probably take a walk in the park. What else? There's nothing more. But there is one thing I want you guys to understand, that there are a lot of inverted comma lines. So we have always done things together. So you could easily expect a direct indirect question here to change it to the indirect speech. So she said that they had always done things together, Anant and her. Okay. So this is probably one entry that you can add for direct indirect speech. So I am now going to start your countdown, the 2 minutes. The 2 minutes have started already. Please make accurate notes. I will see you at the other side of these 2 minutes. Enjoy the music. Okay, the word here that you have is choke voice. So choke voice is suggestive of the fact that she was sad. She wanted to say a lot of things, but nothing was coming out clearly. Choked voice. Okay, very emotional and unable to talk properly. The people in the park were doing so many things. Could be a 1 mark comprehension question. Your time is up. That's it. I hope you are done with all your work, and time for us to move to the next slide. So we stopped, remember, at the part that they were eating, is it not? So let's start. They were eating roasted gram and peanuts. Smita felt alone in their midst. In their midst is among them. She was lost in her thoughts. She was still thinking about what to do. Her brother wants to attend the concert, but how can he come to the concert? She was feeling sad. Suddenly a daring thought came to her, and as she hurried home, she said to herself, why not? So she confirmed that whatever it is that she was planning to do was perfect. And why not? She asked herself. There is no harm in trying it. It would be nice to go to the concert. I don't know when we will get another opportunity to hear Pandit Ravi Shankar, she said to her mother later. In fact, if you remember in the last slide, her mother made it clear that definitely Smita should go and attend the concert. And her father agreed to get the tickets. So her father definitely, we saw in the last slide, modal auxiliary of certainty. Remember, your father will take you there. So her father agreed to get the tickets. The next day, as Smita and her father were leaving for the concert, her brother smiled and said, enjoy yourself, though the words came out in painful gasps. Lucky you. Guys, I want to appreciate the brother first of all. He is not at all jealous. Okay, he probably in wholeheartedness asking Smita to enjoy herself. So what if I can't go? He thinks. At least you can enjoy the concert, the performance. So go ahead and enjoy yourself. He also added, lucky you. And in painful gasps. So if you remember, gasp is unable to breathe or breathe heavily. So he is not well. His condition is critical. The first entry is in their midst. I told you that. Among them, she felt alone despite of the fact that there were so many people in the park. It happens, is it not? When you don't know anyone, even if the place is crowded, you do feel lonely at times. A railway station would be a very good example. So there are so many people on the platform, yet if there is nobody whom you know, then you will feel alone in their midst. I repeat, you will feel alone in their midst. Then what else? There is no harm in trying it. I believe this is a very important question. You can actually star mark it. I feel it's a very, very important question, guys. Make affirmative. There is no harm in trying it. So trying it is harmless. No harm. That's negative, is it not? So there's no harm in trying it. Trying it is harmless. Please understand how we arrived at the answer. Lucky you. How to make it assertive? At the moment, this is exclamatory. Strong emotion. Lucky you. So assertive will be you are very lucky. Now some students like to add indeed over here. So you are indeed very lucky. You are certainly very lucky. Well, that will also do. Very important. And the brother also asked her to enjoy herself. So enjoy yourself will be enjoy herself. If you were to ask, if you were asked to change this to indirect, he asked her to enjoy herself at the concert. You can add that in the bracket. So I'm going to start your countdown. You have about 2 minutes. Make a note of things. I will see you at the end of these 2 minutes. Guys, I hope you have marked that affirmative is very important question. It's highly probable, this question. And one more thing is gasp. So if you have not made a note of this earlier, well, you should gasp, breathe heavily or pant, P-A-N-T. You could definitely add that. Another 5 seconds and then we'll proceed to the next one. All right, the time is up. I'm sure that you are done with the work, and so let us proceed. Now let me start reading it, and please do not be distracted by anything but focus on your screens. Sitting beside her father in the gallery, Smita heard as in a dream the thundering welcome the audience gave the great master. This is a mistake. I'm sure that I have made a necessary note of this. We'll study this. This is a mistake, guys. It should be sitting beside her father. She was not sitting besides her father. She was sitting beside her father. Okay. And the audience gave the great master a thundering welcome. I'm sure you have seen this whenever, if at all you had such an opportunity to attend a performance by an artist. Let's continue. Then the first notes came over the air, and Smita felt as if the gates of a land of enchantment and wonder were opening. Spellbound, she listened to the unfolding ragas, the slow plaintive notes, the fast twinkling ones, but all the while the plan she had decided on the evening before remained firmly in her mind. The chance of a lifetime. Remember, a third time you have this, okay? It's a punchline. The chance of a lifetime. She heard Anand's voice in every beat of the tabla. The concert came to an end. The audience gave the artists a standing ovation. Now this is perfect. It's not a mistake. Okay. Artist. In fact, that is the right sound. Okay. Artists. So this is not a mistake. And standing ovation, I'm sure we'll study that. But let's first go through the mistake that I told you about. It should be beside, sitting beside her father in the gallery, not besides. There's a clear difference between the two. As homework, you can create two lines. Beside is seated beside, next to, and besides actually means accept. Oh, sorry, except. Okay, except. So besides him, everybody was on time. That means only he was late, something like that. Plaintive is sad or mournful. Spellbound is hold attention or being hypnotized. Chance of a lifetime is a punchline that we know. And a standing ovation is an applause when people stand. You must have seen this in cricket as well. Whenever someone scores a century or whenever the bowler takes a 5-wicket haul, everyone stands on their feet to applaud the achievement. So that's a standing ovation. Often the judges of the reality shows give a standing ovation for a sparkling performance by a candidate, by a contestant. All right, that's it. And a code mixing example. I am actually not impressed that they haven't changed it to italics. Okay, they had to change the font, but nonetheless, it's a code mixing example. A typical arrangement of only certain notes for a particular composition is the meaning of ragas as Indian classical music for you. We are done with this. Remember to make a note of beside and besides. I think we have discussed this previously, but anyway, your homework is to make sentences using beside, one sentence using beside and the other using besides. I'll start your countdown now, and I will be back after a couple of minutes. All right, guys. Plaintive is very important word, and you can use the word mournful. That will create a very good impression on the minds of the examiner. Make a note of the punchline for the third time. We have this punchline: a standing ovation. Yeah, let's continue that homework where you make your own sentences using these expressions. A lot of good expressions in this lesson. Well, the time is up, and I'm sure you are also done with your work. All right, then. So let us continue. Let me read. It's quite a sizable content here. So let me read it. So let's recap quickly what we studied in the last slide. Well, yes, there was a brilliant performance going on, but even during that time, all that Smita was able to think was the chance of a lifetime. The chance of a lifetime, that was actually being heard by her a lot because she's concerned about what she can do for her brother. The performance was brilliant. She was spellbound, but then she definitely had a plan. We will soon find out what that plan is, but so far we've arrived at that point where she is in the auditorium. Pandit Ravi Shankar is performing live. Now she has the plan ready. Let us see what happens next. A large mustachioed man having a long mustache made a long boring speech. Remember, this is something interesting in English, guys. He made a long boring speech. Sometimes the adjectives have to be arranged this way. Long boring speech. You would never ever say boring long speech. We lived in a small rented small house. So really there is something interesting. Always you should remember that there is no written rule about it, but sometimes you just know that the arrangement is right or not. Then came the presentation of bouquets. Then more applause and the curtain came down. The people began to move towards the exits. Now I have a question for you. This is your homework. Is there a difference between toward and towards? We have in this, let me pull up the notepad for this, guys. You've already seen that there is a difference between beside and besides. Okay. So we have seen this. There is, what did we see? There is a difference between what? Between beside and besides. There is a difference. Your homework is there a difference between what? Between toward and towards. That's your homework. Is there a difference between toward and towards? Beside and besides, I told you the difference already. But what about toward and towards? That's your homework. Let's come back to the PPT. We'll jot this down later. Okay. Now was the time. So the program has come to an end. The artists have been given the bouquets. People have applauded their effort, and the people are now moving towards the exits. Now was the time. Smita wriggled. This W is silent. Smita wriggled her way through the crowds towards the stage. Again, you have two words. Then she went up the steps that led to the wings, her heart beating loudly. In the wings, there should be a comma. A small crowd had gathered to talk about the evening concert. Now there is a comma, aptly. To help carry bouquets and teacups and instruments. This can be treated as climax. So carry bouquets and teacups and instruments. He was there, standing with the man who played the tabla for him, the great wizard of music, Ustad Alarkha. Her knees felt weak, her tongue dry. This is a very nice expression of her feelings, okay? But she went up, courageous girl Smita. She went up and standing before them, her hands folded. Oh sir, she burst out. I have to appreciate, guys, the way Smita has shown great courage. I'm sure you've attended concerts, you've been to a drama. It takes guts to actually even seen a celebrity. It takes guts to approach somebody with confidence and to say something that is there in your mind, which Smita is going to do for the sake of your loved one back home. Appreciate lovely courage, and she's quite young, we know the ages, the teenagers, both of them, so hats off. And by the way, remember the point I said about arrangement of adjectives. Okay, the example I gave you was, we lived in a small rented house. Now you know small and rented are arranged correctly. Had I said it like this, we lived in a rented small house, you would have sensed something is wrong. Okay, we lived in a small rented house is much better than we lived in a rented small house. There is, for your information, there is no written rule anywhere about how the adjectives should be arranged, but somehow by constant usage of the language, people know how to arrange them. There is a method, by the way. There is a method. You can do more research. This topic has been handled on Wikipedia about whether the region should come first, whether the size, shape, origin, use, what comes first. For example, if something is Italian, if something is expensive, if something is a bag, that is a leather bag, then is it shining? So should you say shining Italian costly leather bag, or should you say leather costly Italian shiny bag? So there is always, I hope you're getting my point. So you can do more research on this about arrangement of adjectives. So this is very nice. In fact, we will go ahead. I will give you a very good task. Let's pull up the notepad, but let's see if we are done with this. Let us make a note of all the entries on the PPT first and then get to the notepad for the arrangement of adjective assignment. You're going to love this. Let's go to the PPT. So the first one is towards. Choose the correct statement. Toward and towards are the same. Toward and towards are different. Well, the homework will be nullified now, is it not? Because I want you to do it now. I'm going to share the answer with you. So choose A or B and be honest about it. I hope you have made your choice, so the homework will not stand because we are going to finish it off right now. The correct one is A. Toward and towards are the same. Oh, I wish I would not have done this here. Wriggled her way means she made her way. Guys, when there is a crowd, you have to make your way, is it not? So she wriggled her way. The wings, here they are not the pair of wings the birds have. Here the wings means the unseen area at the side of a stage. If you have taken part at your annual social in the school, I'm sure you know the wings, is it not? On the theater or a stage. Wizard. Wizard is a magician or an expert. Ustad is yet another example of code mixing. In the last slide, we saw ragas, and again, they have not changed the font. For Guru, they did change it. In the last lecture, I suppose we saw that example. For Guru, they had changed the font, but not this time. I wonder why. Okay, so I will first go to the notepad before starting your 2 minutes. So let's go to the notepad, and why are we here? I will tell you why we are here. Look at the arrangement. Okay, so let's call it arrangement of the adjectives. Let me give you some adjectives. Let me give you shiny. Okay, let me give you costly first. Let me give you leather. Let me give you Italian. Let me give you brown as a color. What else can we add? New, latest. New is fine, new. And what we are talking about is a bag. So now you will tell me what should be the right order of putting this. Guys, this is your homework and it's a very interesting homework. Should you be saying costly leather Italian brown new bag, or should you say a new Italian costly brown leather bag, or should you be doing it in multiple other ways? Okay, your duty is to tell me what order will be the best. The adjectives I've given you are costly, so we are talking about leather, we are talking about the type, we are talking about Italian, so we're talking about the origin, we're talking about the color, we're talking about the age of the article, and we're talking about a bag. That's a very interesting homework. How do you want to arrange this? So we will start with this. Please take about 20 odd seconds to copy this homework. I'll highlight it. This is what I want you to copy. Please start doing that. And after this, we will go to the slide, and then I will start your couple of minutes. Okay, I hope you've made necessary notes. Now I'm going to take you back to the PPT and start your timer. I'll see you after 2 minutes. Guys, I'm sure you're as excited as I am to know what it is that Smita wants to say. She is going to make a sort of a very odd request, I suppose. So it will be very interesting to find out what she says, and more importantly, the reaction of the masters. They are no ordinary people, guys. They are masters. And she has a very, I'm sure, a very odd request. And don't forget this large mustachioed man. Your time is up. Let us go to the lesson that's getting really interesting now. So let me start reading it. Give me undivided attention. Focus on the lesson. Stop doing everything else. Yes, he asked questioningly but kindly. So that's a hallmark of any great personality. They're always kind and humble. And her story came pouring out. So she actually told the Ustad everything. The story of the cancer, their stay in Gaganpur, that they both are taking sitar lessons. So she poured everything out. I like the way Shantarao has expressed this. Her story came pouring out. The story of a brother who lay sick at home and how he longed to hear him and Ustad play. Will you come to Aunt Sushila's house and play for him? There you go. That's the odd request. Smita has asked a question. Will you come to Aunt Sushila's house and play for him? She asked at the end breathlessly. Please, she begged. Please come. By the way, she asked breathlessly because I am sure, guys, that she joined it with everything she wanted to say. So, for example, she must have said, "Sir, I have a brother who is a great fan of yours. He is not well. He is suffering from cancer. We were in Gaganpur. We are here in for treatment. Will you come to Aunt Sushila's house and perform?" She must have just added it at the end, breathlessly, because there was no way she could just start with that entry. So first she must have shared everything that she wanted to, and later she just threw the question, but very politely. And now I'm wondering what the Ustad great masters, both of them, Pandit Ravi Shankar as well as Ustad Alarka. Let's see what they are going to say. But I'm sure you try to visualize it. She must have just spoken breathlessly about her own story, and finally, just subtly, put that question: will you come to Aunt Sushila's house and perform? Very interesting, guys. Okay, so now she begged. Okay, she begged. That shows that there's no arrogance there. It's a very, it's almost pleading. Little girl, said the mustachioed man. Remember, I told you not to forget that large mustachioed man, right? Who had made the long speech. Panditji is a busy man. You must not bother him with such requests. But Pandit Ravi Shankar smiled and motioned him to be quiet. He turned to Ustad Sahib and said, "What shall we do, Ustad Sahib?" The Ustad, that is Ustad Alarka, guys, father of Ustad Zakir Hussain. The Ustad moved the wad of pan from one cheek to another. "Tomorrow we perform for the boy." "Yeah?" he said. "Yes," Panditji replied. "It's settled then." What a generous gesture by the great masters. That defines great people. You always should approach a personality fully aware that they are personality, you are not. I've often seen arrogance. Like even if they want a selfie in today's era, they would approach the celebrity and in a way they'll make them believe that they are a celebrity and the celebrity might be some common man. Here, the first way to win the heart is humility. So Smita approached, okay, with full humility. She pleaded, explained her story and made a request. And then the masters, impressed with the way she approached and kindly told them everything properly, in a way, in a method, they decided that yes, they understood that there was no way the boy could come and attend the concert. Let's take the concert to the boy. Now that is a terrific gesture. I am sure those who are watching this lecture right now, when you grow up and become somebody, which I'm sure you will in whatever career you choose, whenever there is a chance for you to act in this way like the Ustad did here, like Pandit Ravi Shankar did, do that. Okay, that's a very nice gesture. Chance of a lifetime. Remember, Anant does not have a lot of time. So both the masters decided that okay, let us do it. Let us provide the child with the happiness. And that's a great gesture. That's a terrific gesture. All right. The entries here, the entries are longed to means yearned to, something that you want. Okay, longed to means yearned to, that means something that you want. Okay, something that you always wanted to, like you always wanted a gear bicycle. Okay, so that is what you yearned for, that is what you longed for. And maybe if you score well in the 10th standard, maybe that's your gift, I don't know. The next entry, will you come to Aunt Sushila's house and play for him? She asked. It's an indirect speech. How to change this from the direct to the indirect speech. By the way, there is another observation, guys. You could have used, the writer could have used the double inverted commas, okay, instead of single ones. She asked if they would come to Aunt Sushila's house and play for him. Very important. Will change to would. I'm sure you're noticing such things, such important changes. Will change to would, and Aunt Sushila's house and play for him. Play for him will remain play for him. That's for Anant. Panditji is a busy man. Make it exclamatory. Notice the spelling. Exclamatory is not with the I. For the spelling exclaim, you will have I. For exclamatory, you don't have I. What a busy man Panditji is. If you remember a few lectures ago, we discussed this. The first two words become the last two words. So, what a busy man is Panditji will not be so right. What a busy man Panditji is. Panditji is, and again Panditji is. First two words become the last two words. And because of this article that you have, that precedes a quality, adjective, that is, you start with what, else you would have started with how. Panditji, Sahib and Pan, 3 code mixing examples, but again I have my issues here that they have changed the font for one of them, 1/3 correct work and 2/3 of incorrect word. So they clearly should have. By the way, you have Ustad here as well, but the reason why I have not highlighted that is we've done this in the previous slide. There was Ustad here as well many a times, but we have already studied that previously, so I have not highlighted that every time. I'm going for new entries. Okay, settled means decided. So they confirmed this. It's settled then that we are going to Aunt Sushila's house and we are going to perform for the little boy. What a gesture. I will say this again. Okay. Wad of pan is lump of pan. I like that. Wad of pan is lump of pan. Now guys, there is this is important. There are a lot of entries that you find here, and I'm going to start your countdown timer. There it is. I shall see you at the end of these 2 minutes. Enjoy the music. Okay guys, a lot of very good entries here to make. Direct indirect speech also was a very important entry here. And as another interesting homework, you could write down about any sort of promises that your parents might have made to you. The time is up. You can share with me if there are any assurances, any promises in return of any percentage target that you have been set. It's not compulsory, and let me make it very clear that you're not supposed to study for some object or for something. But then just as motivation, parents sometimes say this, that if you score above 90% or if you get 80%, whatever target they've set for you, then we will probably get this necessary thing for you. So let me know if there is any such commitment that you've been offered, and I would be very happy to learn it from you. So let me know whatever the case might be. All right, I think we are done with this, and we can definitely then in that case go to the next slide. Okay. We are on to the, just give me a moment. Yes, guys, this is the slide that we have to study. Okay, let me read it. Come back to the point. It was a very excited Smita who came home late that night. Anant was awake, breathing the oxygen from the cylinder. Did you hear him? Guys, this is the consistency that I was talking about. If you remember very clearly, guys, very clearly, that the Shantarao has been very consistent. Earlier as well, I told you that because he cannot speak properly, he does not have that kind of strength, guys. So he always kind of speaks with a start and he has to repeat. So did you that comes again. So that's repetition and very good consistency. So we can feel that yes, we are in the, we can sense the character. It's nicely written. I'm appreciative. You should notice such subtleties. Very consistent. Right at the start of the lesson also, you would have noticed he speaks that way. The character Anant, and has been brought to life by the writer. Remember, Anant is not the real name. The names have been changed. Anyway, did you hear him? He whispered. I did, she replied, and I spoke to him, and he will come tomorrow morning with the tabla ustad, and they will play for you. It's amazing, guys. Imagine, I can only imagine, how happy Anand must have been when he would have heard this. That what did you just say? You approached Pandit Ravi Shankar and Ustad Alartha, who was with him, performing with him, and they both agreed that they would come here and perform for me. Now, he would be on the seventh cloud or the ninth cloud or whatever the number is, extremely happy, extremely happy. You got to feel for the boy. He has less time, and yes, this is the chance of a lifetime. Well, this is a chance probably in everybody's lifetime. The great artist coming at your doorstep to perform for you. That's an amazing thing. Amazing. Okay, so let's see the entries. There's a big direct indirect speech entry here. I did, inverted commas, she replied, inverted commas again open, and I will again say this is double inverted would have made more sense. And I spoke to him, he'll come now. She replied that she had done, I did is she had done. That means she had done all the talking, that is. You can add talking in the bracket if you want. She can add talking in the bracket here. She replied that she had done all the talking. And she had spoken. Past changes to past perfect, guys. She had spoken to him, like I've added in the bracket Panditji. Notice how I have changed the font, although the textbook doesn't want to. And he would come the next morning with the tabla ustad, and they would play for him. They would play for you will change to they would play for him when it is direct to indirect speech. Fantastic example, guys. Anant was awake. How do you make that negative? If Anant was awake, means Anant was not asleep. He was awake. That means he was not asleep. Okay. Now you would get a sense of Anand's character here, that he was always alert. Do you remember at the start of the lesson as well, when she was reading from the newspaper, he was very alert of what was happening. Now here again, Smita thought he might be asleep. She's back from the concert, but no, he was very curious to know what happened at the concert because he wanted to be there. So that gives a lot of information about Anand's character. Fantastic. Now let us see if there are any more entries here. Yes, there is. The consistency I was talking about. Did you? It's because of his illness, the repetition. So he speaks, he has to repeat the words because he doesn't have that kind of energy. All right, then your 2 minutes will start, and I will see you after a minute and a half. Enjoy the music until that time. Okay guys, I'm sure you're almost done. If you remember, I've told you to add in the bracket. She had done talking, all the talking, just like I have added Panditji. Now we'll bring the lesson to a conclusion in the next slide. We have about 5 seconds more. Fantastic. Okay, I think we should now proceed to the final slide. Okay, let me read. Stop doing anything and everything else apart from this. So listen. Now this is the climax. And the following morning, Aunt Sushila's neighbors saw two men get out of a taxi which pulled up outside their block. They could not believe their eyes. Is it? It's not possible, they said. Pandit Ravi Shankar and Ustad Alarkha went up the wooden staircase and knocked softly on the door of Aunt Sushila's apartment. They went in, sat down on the divan by the window and played for the boy, surrounding him with a great and beautiful happiness as life went out of him gently, very gently. Written by Shantaram. Guys, absolutely amazing gesture. The only sad part here is that Anant left the world. But you tell me, had the masters not done this, death was certain, but he would not have been so happy. So that's why I'm appreciative of what the masters did. And I am absolutely sure that they didn't charge for it. Okay? So that is why I am being so appreciative of this. Fantastic. If you remember, there's one interesting thing at the last, right at the end. Previously in one of the lectures, not one of the lectures, in fact the last lecture, because it is this lesson, we were talking about death and expressing it in mild words. There, death was expressed as death. But here, look at the way death is expressed. Let's go back to the PPT. Life went out of him gently, very gently. So this is the way you've actually used mild words to express the same emotion, the death. Okay, let's study. Pulled up is stopped. There was a taxi that pulled up outside their block. Now there is THEIR, guys. Remember, THEIR and THERE. Don't make any confusion there. Yet another example of code mixing where they have not changed the font. So code mixing, divan, it's a bed. Okay, the colloquial term for that. Next, you have the euphemism that I was talking about. The name for that is euphemism. The harsh idea of death, okay, is expressed in mild words. Very important. The harsh idea in mild words. And yes, this is repetition as well. Gently, very gently. The writer wanted to stress on this, and so there is repetition as well. Beautiful, is it not? Well, we'll come to your homework in a moment. Let's quickly start your countdown timer. And there is nothing much here to make a note of. So I've decided that I'm going to give you only a minute for this one. Okay, so take your minute. Okay, hope you are almost done with this, guys, because there was I gave you a minute because there was nothing much to write here. Okay guys, there is an interesting homework. Before I go to the next slide that has the homework, here is a very interesting homework for you. We are talking about masters and ustads and pandits and celebrities. You tell me, send it to me in writing about your experience okay, with a celebrity. Have you ever come across, do you have any such experience where you actually met a celebrity, the celebrity was busy, was talking to somebody, or was in some work, and you approached with proper courtesy and manners, and the celebrity obliged to a selfie with you or maybe an autograph? Send me a very nice entry in a written form, okay? Check the spelling mistakes and send it to me by WhatsApp or maybe an email. And if I like that experience that you shared, I will share it with everybody on our channel. So this will be a very nice homework. If you have any such experience with any such celebrity where you approached and then the celebrity obliged and did whatever was your desire, so please let me know. Send it to me in writing. It should be in good handwriting. Make sure that you check the spellings and everything. Send it to me either on WhatsApp or you can email me. Okay, so you can do that. If I like whatever it is sent by you, if it's interesting, I'll share it. Now, those who don't know my email, well, they should be aware of my email ID by now. But if not, I shall pull up the notepad and kindly make a note of my email ID, please. So this was your last homework. My email ID, please. It is happening. Happening ameya@gmail.com. Guys, this is what it is. Okay, happening Ameya. Happening is a word, Ameya my name. Happening ameya@gmail.com. You can definitely send your entries onto this, or if you know my number, my students who know me very well know this, but they can do the WhatsApp as well. All right, back to the PPT, and we are done with the lesson. And now I was going to reveal the homework. Well, this is your homework, the question 5 of your textbook. The whole story revolves around Anant. I've been praising his character, remember? Write a short paragraph with the help of the following points. Talk about his health, talk about disease, he's battling with cancer, talk about his early interests, intense desire, wish, talk about the fulfillment of desire or wish. So using these points, you have to develop a paragraph, and please send it to me. Again, now you know the how and where to send it. There's no time needed for this, so let us straight away proceed to the next one. The text has a big collection of Indian words in it, and so code mixing is what they are talking about. They want more entries from us. They have provided one entry, raga. So let me give you more entries. Sitar, a musical instrument with a long neck and strings. Bombay, I told you it's old name for Mumbai. These are the column A, you'll have all code mixing examples. Guru, a Sanskrit term for an expert mentor teacher, like I am your guru, okay? Tabla, a pair of small hand drums. Pandit, an honorific title for an expert or scholar, and so is Ustad, but that's in Urdu. Sahib is a title for sir, and Pan, it's bitter leaf chewed for better digestion and after lunch or after meal, and often as mouth freshener as well. So I will now give you about a minute to make a note of all of these. Okay, so your time starts. It's amazing how they have asked us to find all the code mixing examples, and when they did it, they did not even change the font except for Guru and Pan. Last 5 seconds and proceed to the next. Okay, the time is up and let us proceed to the next. Here we have to choose the appropriate adverb and fill in the gaps. So she spoke in an dash tone, an excited tone. Smita accepted the suggestion. How did she do that? She did that gratefully. They gave him whatever made him happy, quality. He ran very fast. Fastly doesn't even exist. He would become a great sitarist someday. Life went out of him. Remember, that's a line, the last line. Gently, very gently. I hope you don't even need any more extra time for this one. You just got to take it from the textbook. It's question 9A for you. Okay, I'm sure. We don't need actually a countdown timer for this. You can tick the correct option. I hope you have done the needful. Let us proceed to the last slide for today. Rewrite in indirect speech. She pleaded him to come. He asked Ustad Sahib what they should do. What shall we do is what they should do. Shall changing to should. Her brother told her to enjoy herself. We discussed this when we did the lesson, okay? Enjoy yourself, enjoy herself. And added that she was certainly very lucky. Panditji replied affirmatively and said that it was settled then, that the next morning they should perform for the boy. Fantastic. You can pause the video if you, because this is the last slide, so there's no point in giving you extra time. You can pause the video and continue jotting it down. For now, I'll bring this lecture to an end, and as usual, it was an absolute pleasure bringing this lesson to you. What a beautiful lesson. Remember, this is based on true events. Do your homework, share that celebrity experience, and up until next time, as I always say, during these pandemic COVID-19 times, stay home, stay safe, and I will see you soon. Bye.